Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Graham Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. I knew a few guys who thought they were pretty smart, but you got being right down to an art, and all that extra whole gel in your hair on a locket, 'cause heaven forbid it should fall out of place. Oh, you think you're special, sing it. Oh, you think you're something else. Okay, so you're Brad Pitt. That don't impress me much. So you got the looks, but have you got the touch? Now don't get me wrong, yeah, I think you're alright, but that won't keep me warm on the long, cold, lonely nights. Wow, that don't impress me much. I just had to do the last part. I just have to. You know, I've been on a Shania Twain kick, so that don't impress me much. And no one better to sing a song that says that line right there than a friggin' Virgo. Are we ever satisfied? Meh. Maybe. Maybe not. Y'all chose to love us. It's not our fault. Happy week. It is the week of April 10th through the 16th, 2023. Welcome to the podcast, y'all. It has been a wild and crazy time for your very Virgo astrologer. Don't know if you're feeling these eclipses rumbling and jumbling and shaking and changing and moving. But over this way, they are doing the damn diggity thing. And all you can do is roll with it. You know, you just got to roll with it. They're course corrections. They can side smack you, gob smack you, make you feel pressured, give you that sense of urgency. Now, they can also be once in a lifetime opportunities, crazy growth, crazy expansion, crazy just wild and crazy is the name of the game. And this week, eclipses roll on. We keep going. We haven't even had our first eclipse yet, by the way. That will take place next week, but we are in the season, and I've heard from a lot of you, private messages, emails, DMs. I finished up the last bit of readings last week, and every single reading was like, what is happening? Please make it make sense. I empathize with you. I love to say it all the time, but just because I'm your astrologer does not make me immune to the chaos and the disorder and the pressure, the urgency, the everything everywhere all at once. If you're feeling it, just know that on the other side of this microphone, so am I. You're not alone, and that's what we're here for in the drunk astrology community, right? To at least say, okay, so you're batshit crazy too? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. And P.S., it don't impress me much. Kidding. I'm kind of obsessed that I took the first minute of this whole podcast to sing the second verse into the chorus. What kind of astrology podcast is this? I feel like if you're a new listener, my God, please just know that this is like a warm hug from me, okay? Like, we do astrology different here. This corner of the astro web is the most fun, okay? And perfect if you're beginning your astrology journey. because you're going to get the astro vernacular and you're also going to get the layman's term, like what the hell does that even mean for me? Hopefully you don't have a lot of little ones today, because apparently I am loving the 4-letter words. Now, let's talk about this week in general, shall we? The overall vibe, well, there's quite a few overall vibes, but we have Venus leaving her home sign of Taurus, entering the chatty McChatterson sign of Gemini for the next several weeks. When Venus gets into Gemini, communication when it comes to love, money, and desire is the name of the game. We all get a little extra boost of wittiness. We all get this call to like barter, compromise, exchange, contracts, agreements. It's all in the air. And the fact that we're in eclipses, that means there could be some fated opportunities, fated agreements and contracts. So just kind of think like, wonder what that could be. And if you're like, well, I wonder what that does for me and my sign, I hope you know that, not that I hope you know. I hope that you scroll up and you put your email into the Cosmic News Train, because I send horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs every single week at the top of every single month. And you can actually, that's what I broke down this week for all 12 zodiac signs. So make sure you get on the Cosmic News Train, because there's some goodies in there. But we talk about Venus and Gemini for all the signs. Where's your charm? Where's your little extra glow? Cover that in this week's sign-by-sign horoscopes. Okay, then we have the luckiest day of the year this year, or this week, because the Sun-Jupiter conjunction comes and maximizes opportunity, maximizes good luck, fortune, prosperity, and abundance. So I don't know what I gotta do to tell you to take a chance on yourself this week. Take a risk, take a leap of faith. This is, especially the first half of this week, especially on Tuesday when the exact aspect, when the aspect comes to an exact point, this is what you want, right? So no matter how unfinished, no matter how like apprehensive or nervous or scared, I want you to take the risk. Let me tell you something about elective astrology. You want the planets to be, you're basically making a chart for a moment, for a, you're like how you have a birth chart, right? And when you all we do our one-on-ones together, we look at your birth chart. Those of you that did the yearlies, the first, page after the table of contents, that next page was your birth chart, okay? You can say, in elective astrology, we say, okay, if I'm going to give a birth chart to this moment, to this question, to this opportunity, I want as many of the planets as I can get in positive, flowy trines and sextiles or something like this, Sun-Jupiter conjunction. I want as many beautiful aspects as possible, so that the best possible outcome is written into this moment. So do you understand what I'm saying here? This is the freaking time. Okay, ready or not? Hey, maybe I'm eclipsing some of you right now, because you're like, oh, Graham, I don't know. Graham, but do I have to? It's eclipses. Talk about fated alignment, fated opportunities. I also, just a little sidebar, but it goes along these lines. I hope you watched your monthly horoscope for your zodiac sign, because I go into deep breakdown of what these eclipse stories are doing. Because yes, we have stories running right now. We have chapter 4 of one and a chapter 1 of a new. So there's a lot going on, but I want you to take a bold move and to take a risk this week. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever your current circumstances are, whatever that is. I don't care how small it might seem, but as long as you are taking the assertive action, being bold, being fearless, putting anxiety and things to the side, no time for fear. I actually had to tell a client this. One of my clients this last week told me that, she was a little scared about certain things, and I was like, now hold on a minute. wait just a second. You're a daily doser. You're a drunk astro client. You got your yearly reading. No client of mine is allowed to go out into the world and be scared of their greatness. Okay? Now, I know that she listens to this podcast too, so you better do me right. I'm your astrologer, and I am here to make your life the greatest it can be, because you're going to be stepping into the driver's seat. And that's for all of you, okay? I want you to boldly sit in the driver's seat of your life and say, this is where I'm going. And this first half of the week is a really juicy, good time to do that. Okay? Fantastic. As we move on through the week, we have a Capricorn quarter moon. We'll talk about that. We have a little kerfuffle on Friday. And is there anything else? Oh, yep, overall vibe this week. This is an important one. We are coming close to the retrograde-free zone of 2023 coming to an end. Next Friday, the 21st of April, Mercury is going to station retrograde. Now, we are already in his retrograde shadow period, but he is nevertheless still moving forward. So he's got his little 3-part story already happening. He's previewing it. I don't know what your weekend has been like, but Friday he entered his retrograde shadow, and Friday, as always, as predicted for your astrologer, who has Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, and Ascendant/Rising, all in Virgo. All of that Virgo is answering to Mercury, so day one of retrograde shadows are always the effing worst for me. And Friday was absolutely insane. Just completely. The whole week, actually, 2 days before eclipse season began with that Libra full moon. Insanity, craziness, emotional windstorms, snowstorms, hailstorms. And just the hits kept coming. But here I am. I'm always, Astrologer Graham, although he annoys me 60% of the time, but the other 40%, Astrologer Graham really comes in and saves the day. Because if I want a rabbit hole, or if I want to tunnel vision on something, if I want to he comes in and goes, all right, enough. Okay, you don't know you don't know how this is going to play out, so you just need to, you got to let it go, because there's nothing to control here. There's no variables that you can control, so you just have to let that go. And that's when I'm really here for Astrologer Graham. Besides all of what I offer for everyone else, I'm saying for myself, Astrologer Graham can really come in, and I'm like, why? Sometimes I just hate being right, be wrong sometimes, Graham. Damn. But that being said, I don't know why I just clapped in your ear. I'm so sorry. I hope that didn't come off too loud. That being said, this week and next week, until we get to Friday, what's your last push? Right? Because basically these are the seeds you're planting, and then with Mercury retrograde will come, I believe it is Pluto retrograde. Hold on, let me see the first planet. Yes, then May 1st, Pluto stations retrograde, and then I believe we do have Jupiter changing that sign, but then who else? Is there not another? I thought there was another. Okay, so it's just Pluto. Pluto on May 1st is the next, but then the brigade of retrograde planets begins. And now we start rehashing, reworking, revisiting. We slow down. We get pauses. We get stops. We get some hurdles. But it's all looking at what you've planted in the first 4 months of this year. About 3.5 months. Okay, so this is the time to just say, okay, I'm pressing go. I'm gonna get this moving now. I'm gonna get some momentum and traction now, because I know that soon come I'm gonna be pressing the brakes. I'm gonna have to revise my strategy. That's what this Mercury retrograde is really about. It's making aspects to Mars. I'm gonna talk about that on social media more. But just know that that's what That's specifically what Mercury is doing this time around, and it's really productive. It's really advantageous. So just know that as we're pumping the brakes a little bit and all the confusion and communication snafus that come with Mercury retrograde, and yes, ghosts from your past, proceed with caution, decide whether or not you want to revisit that or not. But other than that, just think about what you're really being tasked to do during this retrograde season from a Mercury standpoint is to just kind of reconfigure, reorganize, reshape your day-to-day. Mercury's in Taurus, so home life, relationship life, financial life. Mercury working with Mars during this retrograde is saying, okay, well, let's take a look, right? We got to look at work. We got to look at finances. We got to look at home life. We got to look at a sense of self-esteem, confidence, worth, and value. Like let's work with all of that together so we can devise an action plan. Mars is looking for the action plan. And Mercury retrograde is like, okay, well then I gotta slow down for a second. All right, let me look at everything that I have going right now and let me see what I could change. What do I want to change? Understand the conversation? All right, so let's see, do I have any news board items? Well, you know what? It's not necessarily news board items, but I do want to I want to pause 2 seconds and just say again a tremendous thank you to everyone who booked their last minute yearly readings. And I can't believe that we got them all done as fast as we did because, woo, y'all came in at the end. Y'all came in hot. I was not anticipating. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone that, that had to reschedule because, each book, y'all know now, they're 20 to 25 pages worth of content, and that's handwritten by yours truly. So it took time, and then there was the yearly card spread. It takes a lot of time, and I wanted to be able to give everybody the right amount of time so that they had everything that they needed. Y'all know I'm thorough. I'm very detailed. So I just really want to say thank you to those of you that did that got the yearly reading this year. I mean, some of my clients, y'all, the only time I see you is during the yearlies, and I love it. And it's great. And now that I have the setup that I have now, likely 2024's yearly reading will pop open in December because I know some of you yell at me because you want to gift. You want to gift somebody, a Christmas gift, and then you want to gift them the yearly, and I haven't had them up yet. Well, this year's going to be different, okay? So don't yell at me. And the only other thing besides that, just saying thank you, and I appreciate all of you for lately, over the last couple of weeks, and I think it's because I had so many readings and I actually got to talk to people. But I have a few other people that have reached out to me via email or DM on Instagram, and give me feedback for the podcast, for this one, for the Daily Dose of Stars. If you're not a subscriber to a Daily Dose of Stars, I highly recommend it, even if it's just for the void moon phases, so you know what to do, what not to do, and also when the nodes of fate are direct, right? These are fated opportunities, alignments, conversations, deals, aspects that you can take advantage of to drastically, just like I said with elective astrology, to drastically change when and how you approach your goals, your dreams, and your visions. It's $10 a month. So, 1.5 Starbucks lattes, and you get daily doses, 2 to 5 minute episodes. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty practical. I mean, I pay for my own subscription because it helps me. Like days if I am like, what is going on? I press play and I'm like, oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you. When I just want to be real life Graham, not astrologer Graham, that's what I do. I'm like, I'll let him tell me. But your feedback means the world. I've been sharing recently, I didn't realize how isolating podcast life can be. because it's really just me and this microphone. And so if I don't hear back from anyone, I mean, I see the downloads and I see new people coming in and out, but still, it's a whole thing. And it's something that I didn't anticipate. Like, here we are growing into I think this is my third season now. And a season being a year. So I think this is my third year of podcasting, and like the podcast is growing and new people are coming in. It's great. But if you would take those reviews and that feedback that you share with me one-on-one and leave it as a review, and whatever platform you listen to this podcast, that would be extremely helpful. Because one, it tells the platform like, oh, this is a podcast worth listening. Because look, not only are people downloading and listening, but they're also commenting and they're loving it. I mean, even if you have a critique, if you hate my singing, you can tell me in the review, and I can't promise that I'll stop singing. Highly unlikely, to tell you the truth. but it does help, shape how I proceed moving forward, because I always want to make sure that I'm serving you. Okay? So that's it. Let's move on to the moons. As we know, the moon really sets the tone and the vibe for our day-to-day flow, because she is the fastest moving celestial body up there. This week, we have the moon traveling in Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and at the very end on, let's see, what was that? Yeah, halfway through Saturday into Sunday, and then going into next week, she's in Pisces. So with the Sagittarius moon, Monday, Tuesday, it's about publishing, traveling, which, funny enough, your astrologer will be in Las Vegas for a wedding. So how appropriate is that? But there's travel, there's expanding your mind, taking a course, learning something new, all things to do, publish something, even if it comes down to like social media. Like Sag is one of those things, like if and whenever we update the astrology, like vocab word for each sign and each house and all of that, social media is definitely, it could go in a couple areas, but Sagittarius is definitely one of them. Then Capricorn, the moon enters Capricorn Tuesday morning, and it's there all the rest of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way until, early afternoon on Thursday. Moon in Capricorn, it can be a little isolating. It can be a little depressive. It can go hard. So I'm going to say this for future me. Capricorn moons, sometimes you overdo it on the substances, and I definitely am not trying to be in Vegas with a headache or hungover or anything. So, future Graham, drink your water. But then also Capricorn moon is all about that work, high profile work, reputable work. Just kind of think like you're climbing a mountain, right? So what are the goals? What are the ambitions? What's the foundation? What's at the top of the mountain, right? What are you working towards is kind of the question to ask yourself Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until mid-afternoon when it goes into Aquarius. And now we kind of leave the Capricorn mountain where we're solo dolo, putting in a lot of hard work, nose to the grindstone. Aquarius is now, let's collaborate, let's connect, let's do this together, let's do this as a group, as a community. And then as we move for that, right, we go Aquarius, mid-Thursday, all Friday, Saturday until late afternoon when the moon enters Pisces, and now sleepy time. Pisces moon, Saturday afternoon, rest all of Sunday. Pisces moon is time to dream, create, float. Just kind of go with the flow, be easy, take naps, sleep in. Perfect moon for the weekend. Like really just, and that's also like you could have a lot of fun with like day drinking and things on a Pisces moon for sure. But just don't go too hard is the only message I want to extend to you with that. Now, planetary wise, let's talk about the friggin' planet. So on Monday at 9:47 p.m. Pacific, remember all the times I give you in this podcast are Pacific, so make sure you adjust for your time zone. So Venus enters Gemini at 9:47 p.m. on Monday, where she's communication, the name of the game. So in relationships of all kinds across the spectrum, but especially if you've got romance on the mind and you're single, then that Venus entering Gemini says explore your options. Try somebody that's like out of your norm, out of your like, oh, my type. Venus in Gemini is inquisitive, right? So your brain, what you bring, your brain game is more important than your thang. What's another way to say that, Graham? Sapiosexual, okay, is more of like the vibe here with Venus and Gemini. Like what you have to offer in like your communication style. How smart are you? Your intellect. Are you well read? Are you, do you have something interesting to offer? Remember, Venus and Gemini is a hard one, can be a hard one to pin down because she's very cerebral. And she's going back and forth, like maybe. Those that have Venus and Gemini in their natal chart, if you ever wonder, like, if you're someone who knows someone with a Venus and Gemini in their natal chart, if you're ever wondering, like, I wonder if they're thinking about me, just know they're thinking about you. They're thinking about you too much. And because of that, they're in their head, like, I have to stop. No, like, I'm not even going to talk to them. Like, I can't. Because, like, I'm just doing too much. And meanwhile, the other person is like, I haven't heard from you in, like, 2 weeks. And what the hell? And they're like, oh, yeah, like, I've just been kind of, like, busy. But meanwhile, no, they've been, like, going crazy in their mind trying to not think about you. It's just the way it goes. Actually, I'm thinking of a few clients that I know have Venus and Gemini, and that's actually really funny. And she's going to be there for several weeks, so enjoy that. Make sure if you're partnered up, make sure that you're really talking to each other, being honest about where you're at, where you're coming from, making it a dialogue, not just some kind of assumption that you're going off of. That is not going to serve this. They're not going to serve your relationship when you've got Venus and Gemini and you're just kind of coming up with things yourself. That's not a good idea. It's better to talk about it, toss it around, and make it a collaborative effort. Don't just be like, no, they didn't call, so it's over. Not the move to make. Now, the next day, luckiest day of the year. I already gave you my sermon about that, but Tuesday, the Sun-Jupiter conjunction takes place at 3:07 p.m., but earlier in the morning, at 3:14 a.m., love goddess Venus has a juicy collaborative trine to Pluto, so a hello transformative change. Hello, work with authority figures. I'm telling you, if you want a new job, if you want to elevate, if you want some sort of end result that you have to go through an authority figure, Tuesday is the day, okay? New job, new opportunity, new promotion, new raise, new something. Now, don't go out of left field if you just started someplace and say, I want $80,000 more. That's not the vibe. But within reason, what do you know you're ready for? And how can you be bold and fearless about your pursuit of that on Tuesday? Jump to Thursday, we have the Capricorn 4th quarter moon at 2:11 a.m. That's taking place at 23 degrees and 11 minutes of Capricorn. So if you look at your chart and you have anything at 23 on or around, like 21 to 25 degrees, this quarter moon is talking to you. Now, I will say quarter moons tend to be very stressful. Capricorn is very traditional, and this is harking on last week's Libra full moon. And I'm kind of just saying maybe Thursday's a day to break some rules, right? To break some tradition, to kind of try something out of the box, try something different than you normally would. Then on Friday the 14th, love goddess Venus has a kerfuffle with Saturn. It's a square 90-degree angle, friction. That's at 9:38 a.m. So relationships get tense. A boss might be mad. A boss might be over it. Or you might kind of get some sort of like slam dunk around the office. Maybe even at home too. Just depending on your dynamics. It could be from a parent. It could be from a husband. Like whatever. There's like, whatever the dynamic, there could be some stress and tension, and it kind of feel like a no of some kind. And that's it, right? I don't think there's anything else. I will say it's really funny to me, and this is the last thing I want to say. It's really funny to me that right now the personal planets have a perfect split of all the elements. The sun is in a fire sign, Aries. Mercury is in an earth sign, Taurus. Venus is in an air sign, Gemini. Mars is in a water sign, Cancer. So this is kind of one of those rare opportunities where the personal planets are balanced. We have a presence of all the elements. But it's happening during eclipses when we can feel anything but balanced. So it's just one of those things that you kind of have to laugh at the universe, because it's like, oh, really? This is when you want to give us an elemental balance? Cool. But nevertheless, first half of this week is particularly powerful and full of blessings. So please take advantage of that. Please take action to change your life this week. It is favored by the universe, okay? And your astrologer wants the best for you. All right, that's it. I'll see you on social media this week. Have a wonderful week. Bye. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.